Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new semester, a new year. My name is Dr. Alex Holcomb, and I will be your professor for this Introduction to Corporate Finance class. There are technically 3 sections of you, so you are all assigned a different section technically according to the university. But I have combined all the sections into one, so there's only one As You Learn page. I'm only going to show you one syllabus. Given that this is a completely online class, there aren't any like dates or structures that are going to be different between the different sections. So for all intents and purposes, no matter what section you see on your schedule, everything is going to default to this one section. So I just want to get that out of the way to start with. Okay. So this is just a basic introduction video. I'm going to talk about expectations for the class, both what I expect from y'all and what you should expect from me. We'll go through the syllabus a little bit. I'll talk about and lay out all the rules, the ways that this class is different than how it would be in person, and how it might be from any of the other online classes that you've already taken. So we'll go through sort of a brief general schedule. We'll talk about the homework, how the exams work, etc., etc. And it shouldn't be a particularly long video, although it will be longer than the most of the lecture videos that I have posted. But we'll talk about just how to handle the class and where to go from here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is just walk through the syllabus. We'll do this kind of quickly. Of course, if I skip something that you have a question about, please just send me an email. Might as well start that now. If you've got something that you want to ask me, the best way to contact me is to send me an email. I'm pretty available and happy to set up a meeting if it needs to be discussed in person. I mean, over Zoom, or I'm just happy to answer it over email, and that goes for the entire rest of the course. Okay. So again, this is Finance 3680. This is the basic Introduction to Finance course. This syllabus and the one that's posted is for section 103, but again, no matter what of the 3 sections you are, you'll see just one As You Learn page, and this syllabus will apply and be the same for everyone. Okay, so the schedule's the same, everything's the same. This is a fully online and fully asynchronous course, meaning we won't have any live Zoom lectures. There isn't going to be anything that we do together as a class. I will send out I'll post a schedule because this class moves really quickly. There is a lot of material. You will have to force yourself to keep up with this schedule, just like this is any in-person class. So I have put a schedule down as if this was a Tuesday, Thursday class with the lectures that you should be keeping up with in each week, the homework that's due each week, the exams and when they are. I will send out reminder emails once a week at the beginning of the week, trying to encourage you to stick with the schedule by saying, hey, you've got to be watching the lectures for chapter 2 and doing the homework for chapter 2, and next week's chapter 3. In 3 weeks, you've got an exam. I'll try to do my best to communicate that schedule to you, but it's also going to be incumbent on you all to keep up with it on your own. Okay, this is now our 3rd semester online, so this is nobody's first rodeo anymore. So I expect that you guys have found, given that you've signed up for a class like this, you have found some way to be successful doing online classes, keeping up with your own schedule, and making sure that you don't fall behind. Okay, that is going to be particularly important in this class because this is going to feel like very new material to most of you. If you've never taken a finance class before, and you probably haven't, it is a lot of material because it's an introduction class. We're going to go through about 1 chapter a week, and we're only sort of briefly skimming the top of all the main ideas and topics in finance. So we're never going to go into a deep dive. And if you're interested in any particular subject that we cover in one of the given weeks, you can then go on and take one of the more in-depth classes later on in finance. So if during the investments chapter you find that you're really interested in investing and stocks and things like that, then you can go take the investments class where they expand that 1 week's worth of material into a whole semester. Okay, so this is never going to be a deep dive. There's not going to be a whole lot of incredibly detailed discussion in this class, but there is going to be a lot of different material. So it's a lot to keep up with, and I want to be upfront with that. This is a difficult class. Even when we're in person, it's a difficult class. I don't think it's any more difficult in an online format, accepting the fact that now you have to maintain and keep your own schedule. Okay, so this is a tough class. We're going to go quick, and you should be prepared from that right off the bat. Okay. I have an office just in Peacock, but I'm not going to be there since this is online. So here's my email. You can send me an email anytime you want. I promise to get back to you within a day or so. If you email me at 11 o'clock at night, don't expect an answer till the next morning. But otherwise, I am pretty freely available. I, like most people, check my email on my phone. And if I can, I'll respond as soon as I can. And if not, I'll get back to you as soon as I am able to. I am only going to be meeting by Zoom, so if you have a question that can't be directly answered over email, then I will set up a Zoom meeting with you. I am available throughout the week to set up Zoom so we can work around your work schedule or whatever within reasonable times. Again, I'm not going to be setting up meetings at 6 a.m. or 11 p.m. Unless there's extraordinary circumstances. Likewise, the weekends, that kind of thing. Okay, so within reasonable accommodations, I am available to meet with you in Zoom or answer questions on email pretty much any time. Okay. If you sign up for the class, you've already met the prerequisites, so I'm not worried about that. What you should understand about the prerequisites is that they are telling you what you necessarily are going to need to be able to succeed in this class. Okay, so there is not going to be any review really in this class except for the very first lecture. We're going to have a short review on accounting and how the principles of accounting that you may have learned are going to be treated a little bit differently in a finance class. So we're going to talk about the things from accounting that we really need, and I'll go over that. But I'm not going to be doing a 3 weeks of a refresher course on accounting or anything like that. So I expect that you've had the first 2 accounting classes. I don't expect that you are an accounting expert. I'm happy if you are. That'll make your life easier. But certainly you can get by as long as you remember the basics of accounting: balance sheet, income statement, what the basic parts of those financial statements are, and generally speaking, what their purpose is, what their intention is. Because finance and accounting are very closely linked, meaning that especially at the level that we're going to be discussing them, there's not a huge amount of difference between a sort of, say, entry-level financial position and an entry-level accounting position. The biggest difference in the long run is that accountants are engaged in recording the history and actions of the firm appropriately. So accountants are sort of backward-looking people in the firm. They are taking all of the things that the firm has done and then recording them and reporting them in the correct way. That's what the financial statements are. They're a picture, a history of the firm looking backwards. In the long run, the financial team is engaged in looking forwards. So the financial team is taking all of this recorded history, all of this information that's been documented by the accounting team, and then using that to try and guide the firm's decision and investments in the future. Okay, so we are using the same set of material, which means that accounting and finance share a lot of the same topics, a lot of the same impetus. Financial team can't work without the accounting team, and of course the accounting team is relying on the financial team to make decisions that are going to keep the firm continuing. Okay? So there's going to be a lot of accounting in this class. I will try to limit what we actually need because this isn't an accounting class, but we can't get away from accounting because we're going to have to look at these financial statements in order to make investment decisions for the firm going forward. Okay. So again, I don't expect you to be an expert, but I do expect that when we talk about the balance sheet and the income statement, it isn't your first time. And of course, if it's been a while, I expect that you do a little bit of work on your own to refresh yourself. Okay. So we'll do about 1 lecture, accounting sort of review, so to speak. But that's all. Okay. So, the other prerequisites are math. We do have, this class is a lot of math. It's not particularly difficult math, meaning I don't expect that you are a calculus expert. We're not going to do a lot of integrals in this class. We're not going to do any integrals in this class, but we are going to do a lot of math. We are going to do math pretty much in every lecture, and we're going to use different kinds of math. Most of it is going to be algebra. If you are fairly comfortable with algebra, I don't expect that you're going to struggle in this class, but this isn't a math class, and I won't do any review of that kind of thing. I will just expect that, if I say solve a formula for X, you have a good understanding and can do that on your own. Okay. At the end of the class, we will do a little bit of statistics, but again, I'm not going to expect that you have the whole statistics class, which is the prerequisite statistics class, memorized. We'll do a little bit of refresher there. But I do expect that at least the math techniques that you'll need all come to you guys naturally. Okay. If any of that sounds scary or like you're not comfortable with any of what I just said, either on the accounting side or the math side, there's going to be additional work for you to succeed in this class. You feel free to send me an email if you feel like you're not comfortable, and we can talk about what your options are. But certainly you're going to need to come up to speed pretty quickly because we will jump right into it. Okay. Otherwise, the prereqs here are nothing big. Everything that you need will be in this class. Otherwise, will be self-contained. Okay. Mass policy, not needed here, but we have to have it in our syllabus right now. Course description is just telling you what you should expect to come out of the course with. And basically that is just a fundamental understanding of finance at a basic level. So all the different topics in finance, well, it's not exhaustive, but most of the important topics in finance we will cover. And that's just, for those of you that aren't finance or accounting majors, that's mostly just so that when you go into the business world and people say things that are related to finance topics like time value of money or investments or stock value or market value or cost of capital, that all of that actually at least rings a bell. Right? I don't expect you to memorize my course, and I know that most of you certainly won't. But what I hope is that when you hear these terms later on, they ring a bell, and you at least know where to go look. And when you go look it up on Google, it brings it back, and you remember, and then hopefully that it sticks the second or third time around. Okay, those of you that are finance and accounting majors, you absolutely need to spend more time on this class than you have on anything else, because you need to carry this forward into your education. And if you go on and take more advanced courses, all of this stuff is going to show up again, and your future professors are going to expect that you have it down pat. Okay. Text. There is a textbook for this class. I don't require it at all. I don't use it other than that it provides the broad guidelines for how this course is structured. Okay. This university is a little different because you guys have that textbook system where you are basically renting the textbooks and you pay a fee, so there's no additional cost. But I stopped requiring a textbook at my previous university because textbooks are so damn expensive, and I hated requiring my students to spend $250 on a textbook that they were only going to use for a semester. Okay, so everything in this class is self-contained. All of the material that you will see on the exams or on the homework is covered in my lecture and example videos. You have no need for the textbook if you do not want it. Now, obviously, it's at the bookstore, so I have it listed as a book at the required by the class. So if you want to get it from the bookstore, go for it. If you want to buy a used copy online, go for it. Particularly your finance major, it might be helpful as a reference text. But all that depends on how you learn. Me personally, I always like to read the textbook, and so I always got one just so that I could read the textbook. It helped me learn better. If that's not how you learn, then don't bother. Okay. But if you like the book, or if you like learning from a book, it will, of course, give a bunch more information and material than what we actually have time to cover in this class. And that will shock you, given how fast we go and how much we manage to cram into a class like this, that we're only covering about half the book. So there's lots of material out there, and you are welcome to. But, of course, once again, you don't need it. All of the exams, all of the homeworks, they're all self-contained, so there's no book required for this class. The only thing that you are going to be required to use in this class are two pieces of electronics. One is a calculator. You need a financial calculator. The financial calculator that I will teach in this class is called the BA2 Plus. The BA2 Plus, this is a purely financial calculator. It looks a lot like the standard be a scientific calculator, except you'll notice that instead of the scientific functions here, it has the financial functions. So this is a separate calculator, and you are going to need a calculator. Okay. Now this is the one I teach and the one I require simply because it's the cheapest. It does the job exactly what you need. You can get through the entirety of the class using just this calculator. If you already have a graphing calculator, a TI-83 or 84 or 86 or 89, or I don't even know what they're on now, but all of the graphing calculators also have the financial functions, and I'll show you some instructions that can help you guide through that. If you have or want to use some other financial calculator, the HP financial calculator or anything like that, you're more than welcome to do that, with the caveat being that in my example videos, I will use this calculator exclusively. So this is the one I will teach you to use. The graphing calculators are very simple and can do all of the same things. All of the same functions are there, but I don't know how to use those as well. So you will be on your own in terms of trying to figure it out if you come up against something that isn't explained in my my notes or my help files. Okay, now that should be pretty easy, pretty old hat to you guys. There are tons of YouTube videos that you can watch if you want to get some help on the graphing calculator. So you can use whatever calculator you like. You can use as many calculators as you like. This is the one I will teach. Okay, so you got to have a financial calculator, and it's got to have the financial functions, which are right here, these 5, and then NPV, IRR, and cash flow. Okay, so we'll be using the calculator a lot. It is the only way to solve some of these problems. So be prepared for that. These only cost about $20 new. I'm sure you could find a used one for even cheaper than that. What I will not recommend to you is that you use something that is purely online based on your phone, on the web, just like on the desktop, because when you take the exams, you're going to have to use the lockdown browser. It's going to lock your computer. You won't be able to use an online calculator like that. So you're going to need to have something physical that you can use during an exam, and that is not going to be something that's web-based. Okay, so you will do much better in this class. You will work these problems much faster if you get one of these calculators or the graphing calculator. Again, it is not important to me which one you use. Okay. Now, the second piece of technology that you'll need is a webcam. Again, this is an online class, so I don't expect that is a huge surprise to anybody here. But the department and college policy is now that, or at the very least, the department policy has changed. And so in the finance department now, we require all of the exams to be monitored, which means you'll be using the Respondus browser, which is a lockdown browser. It's going to freeze your computer, so that the only thing you can do on the computer is take the exam. It's also going to require that you have a webcam on so that it can monitor you. We had a bunch of cheating going on in the last semester, and so the rules have changed. This is not my preference. I voted against it, but I got overruled, and so the rules are the rules. So you're going to require to have a webcam, and you're going to need a financial calculator. Other than that, you are good to go with whatever you've got currently. Now, this is the schedule for the class. Again, this is a nebulous schedule in the sense that this being an online asynchronous class, there are no fixed meeting times. So this Tuesday, Thursday, all these dates, this is me attempting to give you a schedule that will help you succeed in the class, right? I am trying to give you something so that you can follow along at the correct pace. So if we were meeting in person and we were a Tuesday, Thursday class, this is the schedule you would have. And we would go approximately this fast. So you'll notice that we only spend about a week on each given chapter, on each given topic. Sometimes we go a little farther. There are going to be 3 exams and a final, and those come about once a month. So we're going to go pretty quick. Your first exam is February 18th. That's a month away if you're watching this on the first day of class. Your next exam will be at the end of March. That's a month from then. And then at the end of April, and then you'll have a final shortly after that. You've got a homework due approximately once a week. They cover about every chapter, right? So you'll have 1 homework per chapter, give or take. You have 8 total homeworks plus an Excel assignment, which is just it's not a huge assignment. I'll show you. It's just like another homework. But it's an introduction to Excel. Okay. So here's the general schedule. This is the one that we'll be keeping. There isn't any reason for us to be canceling class or anything like that. So there's no reason for this schedule to change. The only thing that matters to you all schedule-wise is the due dates on the homework and the exams. Okay, so the homework is due on the date that it is listed at midnight on that date. Okay, so homework 1, which covers chapter 2, is due on January 28th at midnight. Okay, now each homework will be available starting from the previous homework. So the first homework is available starting January 19th. It's due January 28th. The second homework is open on January 28th at midnight and is due on February 9th at midnight. And you'll need to watch the lecture material in between. Now, I don't expect that the homeworks take you a huge amount of time, but they do expect to take them an hour or two, depending on how comfortable you are with the material. So don't start the homework at 11:30 at night and expect that you're going to be able to finish it in half an hour. Okay. The exams are also going to be taken on the day they're listed. So your first exam is February 18th, Thursday, February 18th. It will be available for an entire 24-hour period, and you will have 90 minutes to do it. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit more about exams when we look at the As You Learn page, but just keep that in mind. Okay, so the Excel assignment is assigned, and then you have 3 weeks to do it. Again, it's not a huge project. I'll show you what it looks like right here. Right, it is just a one-page project here. The instructions are fully self-contained, and then you are just filling out a projected cash flow statement for the firm and deciding whether to take an investment. Okay, so if you have no experience with Excel, expect this to take a little longer than a normal homework. If you already have good experience with Excel, expect this to take no longer than a normal homework. That being said, one of the things that I am not going to teach really in this class is how to use Excel, although I, of course, have videos talking about what is all entailed here. But it is one of the most important things for you to succeed in the business world going forward. So if you have no experience in Excel, you need to get it, and you need to get it somehow, some way, somewhere. There are classes in the library. I have posted links to free classes on Microsoft's own website, just free like YouTube videos doing the basics of an Excel. They're great. They really are great. Microsoft makes a lot of money from Excel, so they have a vested interest in teaching the next generation. There are further classes in the College of Business, in the finance department, probably in the other departments that are more Excel intensive, teaching you to do bigger things in Excel. This is like the number one thing that employers tell us as faculty that students don't have when they come into the workforce and that they need. Particularly in finance and accounting, your first job is going to be almost all being what I would call an Excel jockey. You're just going to be sitting there entering and collating things in Excel. So the better you are at it, the better you are going to be at that job. And you trust me, you want to be able to write on your resume that you are an Excel expert. And you don't want to lie about that kind of thing, because the people that are interviewing you will definitely be Excel experts, and they'll ask you about it. So find a way. If you've never done Excel, this is going to be your introduction. If you've already done Excel, this is going to be easy for you. It's just another homework. Okay. So you can see we go pretty fast. We cover 4 chapters approximately between each exam. The first 3 exams are not cumulative, so that means they only cover the chapters that are beneath them. So in exam 1, we'll have chapter 2, 3, 5, and 6. In exam 2, it'll cover chapter 8, 7, 9, and 10. So they're not cumulative. That being said, the class itself, the material is very cumulative. So the stuff that we learn in chapter 5 and 6, we'll use again in chapters 8 and 7. Now, I won't ask any specific questions that are only from the earlier chapters, but you will be using some of the techniques and material later on. Now, that might seem onerous, but really it's helpful because you will be sort of forced to use these techniques over and over again. And by the end of the class, the stuff that felt really hard in chapter 5 and 6 will feel easy in chapter 14, right? Now, the final is cumulative. It's going to be a big wrap-up. It's going to cover all of the material. So there is going to a cumulative exam in the end, but again, the material from the early stuff, it will feel easy by the time you get to the final, or it should feel easy by the time you get to the final, just because you'll have done so much of it. Okay, so this class does naturally build on itself, but I won't be specifically asking questions as we move through the exams. Now, as I said, I will I will be sending you relatively frequent emails, about once a week, giving you at least an update on where you should be in the class, what's coming up, and to try to keep you on schedule, right? So the first week, I'll send you an email telling you to watch this video and telling you to start watching the Chapter 2 videos. And the second week, I'll send you another video saying you need to finish the Chapter 2 videos, watch the Chapter 3 videos, and you have your first homework covering Chapter 2 due on Thursday of that week. And then I'll start reminding you about the first exam, and I'll remind you about the Excel assignment, and we'll just, in general, you'll get an update from me once a week. But hopefully ideally, that's just your backup, right? I expect you guys to, if not follow this schedule exactly, at least come up with your own way to maintain the pace, right? Because the pace is quick. You can't expect to get to, February 17th and watch all of the lecture and example videos and then hope to do well on exam 1. This is not possible. This is not the class where you can cram it all in at the end. There is a lot of math, and the only way to do well in a class with a lot of math is to practice the math. And the only way to do that is to do the homeworks and watch the videos and do the example problems alongside me, so that you have that math down by the time you get to an exam, and you have to do it under pressure. Okay, so I will do my best, but it will help you to come up with your own schedule. If not this one, put it in your calendar, follow your calendar, watch the videos. They're not onerous, and keep up with the structure of this class. Okay. Now, there I want to jump quickly over. So again, everybody is going to see this same page here. So no matter what section you are, you're going to be in the Finance 103 section here. Everybody is linked in here because everybody is on the same schedule doing the same thing. Here's what it looks like. I will be posting announcements and sending out my weekly emails through the announcements page here. So you'll see there, they'll all be stored there. You can go back and check it. I will be posting this welcome video right up in here when it's finished. You can see a copy of the syllabus right here. If the syllabus ever has to change for any reason, I'll send out an email saying that it changed, and I'll post the updated one, although we shouldn't expect that to happen here. There's a really helpful file here called Check My Grade. We'll talk about grades, and I'll come back to this, but it's posted right up here. It's an Excel file. You can download it. You can use it. This will allow you to see your grade at any point in time throughout the class, and it's already all pre-built. Okay. This is a really helpful file that I've put together over the years based on current research. It's called How to Study Based on How Memory Works, and it talks about basically the brain hacks that you can do on yourself in order to help you remember and study better. Now, you guys are juniors in college, more or less. Most of you are juniors in college or seniors. So presumably you've already learned and internalized good study habits and techniques. If you haven't and you've just been getting by, I'd give this a read. It really helped me over the years throughout all the 10 years of college that I did. It's just useful tips based on actual scientific research